Well, that's true too. All right, so Dave is here. All right, let me change this around. How's it going, Dave?
What's up, man?
Let's
Nothing
go.
much, man. Let's go. So the official prompt was what was it? What was the official prompt again? Is he objectively a douchebag? Is that what it was? Or I'm trying to find
Uh,
the prompt again.
yes, I believe so.
Okay. So do you guys want opening statements or do you guys just want to go at it? What do you guys want to do?
I'll let him go first.
I didn't really
All right.
prepare anything, so it doesn't matter
No,
to
no
me.
shit. This is off the cuff.
Yeah.
I want to hear, but I want to hear why you think I'm a douchebag.
Hang on.
I'll give you 5 minutes, Dave. So whenever you're ready.
Give me a second. I'm dealing with life right now. There we go.
And by the way, you don't have to
Go
take
for
up the
us.
whole 5 minutes. So
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I think. So first of all, we got to look at objectivity. I would say. Wait. I think you're running in the. I can hear an echo. Are you echoing? Am I echoing?
I think it's you.
Wait. Stop that.
All right. Well,
Is it still
Dusty, do you
there?
want to? Yeah, Dusty, do you just want to go first then while he figures his stuff out?
Sure. Okay. So, am I objectively a douchebag? No, because a douchebag is a subjective measurement. So, first of all, you're just like that prompt was dumb because technically, I'm not because I can't be objectively measured. However, I don't disagree that subjectively I am a douchebag. I won't even fight that at all. So,
All right, that. Oh,
so yeah, I mean, I win technically. I concede. I concede the point broadly. Informally, I concede the point, and I say I'd rather be a douchebag than a ball licker and a follower.
dude.
Who am I following?
You're following the group. You're following the herd.
What group is that? What herd?
Which herd do you think? Read the
I
chat.
don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Read the chat.
Read the
If
chat.
you're not,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
If you're not following the herd, then how did you come to the conclusion I'm a douchebag?
By all of the content that I've seen of you.
Okay.
Now, okay, so you're right. I'll concede that. I mean, objectively is hard to define because objectively it doesn't mean that it's set in stone just fact because you can you can be you can look at objective things if there's enough evidence for it.
Right.
So it can be objective if there's enough evidence for it.
But
In my opinion, there is plenty of evidence that you've been a douchebag.
Isn't douchebag an opinion though? Like it's a subjective opinion. If you think I'm a douchebag, I can't like you can't be wrong in that. That's your opinion. But if somebody else doesn't think I'm a douchebag, they also can't be wrong in that. So there's no way to quantify douchebaggery. There's
Right,
not
and
an
that's what I'm
objective
saying.
standard.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I guess it's based off your definition. If you say that if you're going off the definition of objective as we're or the definition of douchebag as in these set of standards, that can be proved. But like you said, it's different for everybody. So on the one hand, yeah, I'll concede that not everybody on earth is going to think you're a douchebag. However, you can look at the evidence that the majority of people think you're a douchebag.
So Cambridge Dictionary defines douchebag as an unpleasant person.
You're definitely an unpleasant person.
But again, pleasant or unpleasant is a subjective, not objective measurement.
But there's plenty of evidence that you are unpleasant.
For some, but I'm also pleasant for some.
I've never seen it.
Well, I got a family, right? Like they don't have to be here. I got people in my chat right now. I mean, people donate to me. So
Well, and yet that's what I think that's kind of what I'm saying is that on one hand, there might be your family and a small group of people that don't think so, but the majority of the internet would agree with me.
majority of the internet has no clue who I am.
Okay, the majority of the internet doesn't know a whole lot of things. That doesn't mean that within a couple of swipes they can see you and see your unpleasantness.
So by appealing to the majority, is that's basically the same thing as appealing to the herd. You're letting the herd determine your opinions for you.
No, we just went over this. I'm saying that the majority of people, myself included, would find you unpleasant.
And this is why I said I'd rather be a douchebag than a follower, because you are a follower. I have asked you why you think I'm a douchebag, and what you've told me is because most people think I'm a douchebag. You have not given me one specific example.
No, I told you the majority of the stuff I've seen of your content is all unpleasantness. It's all you being a fucking douchebag.
Can you give a specific?
Specific what?
Just a specific example. When I say if I ask you how I'm a douchebag, and you just say the things that you do, that's not really an answer. Now, what I'm suggesting is that you don't actually have your own opinion, and what you're demonstrating is that you don't actually have your own opinion.
No, yeah, I do. So my opinion is that the majority of just what I saw before I knew anybody on the internet. So when I started coming across debates, you weren't the first. Andrew wasn't the first. Cool Vic wasn't the first. It was a bunch of just random ass debates from people that are literally completely random.
Okay.
When I came across you, the very first time I made my personal opinion about you was on one of Sarah's panels. Okay. The reason I think you're a douchebag is because you try to pretend like you're based and like you're like you're this cool down to earth guy. However, you agree with all the leftist bullshit that's out there. You agree the very few minute things that I've seen you that I haven't seen you agree on would be I don't know if I've ever seen you talk about trans people or anything like that, but the majority of stuff that I have seen you on is all I honestly, when I first saw you on Sarah's panel, I thought, okay, this guy looks like he's just a regular normal guy. Maybe he is. So I started watching your debates. You were agreeing with all the leftist prompts, And that's when I made my opinion about you. It had nothing to do with following this guy, that guy, or the other guy. It was literally looking into your channel, watching you debate on Sarah's channel, and seeing you agree with a bunch of shit that is douchebaggery.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know my opinion on Transformers?
Well, I mean, that's just the first one that popped into my head.
Okay, because I think that you are mistaken about my opinions on things.
Okay.
Because I think it's a mental illness.
Well, yeah, no, it absolutely is.
Mm-hmm.
What I was saying, it was something to do with race or gun control or something like that. I can't remember now.
Oh, I hate gun control. I'm the most pro gun person you met.
No, I'm the most pro gun person I've met. But regardless of that, I can't remember what the fuck it was now. So okay, so getting back to the prompt, I would say that I would concede that you're not objectively a douchebag. I said that just because I think the audience that we're in front of right now would all agree with me.
Yes, they would.
However, I have not gotten my information from them. Therefore, I'm not a follower. I got my information from just watching debates.
It doesn't sound like you don't have any information. You have an opinion. You've adopted the group opinion, but the information, like, you just haven't given me any examples. The one example you did try to give was just wrong. It's just flat wrong. So
okay, so would you consider yourself left, center, or right? You would consider yourself a centrist, right?
Libertarian is probably the closest thing, but yeah, small government, just fuck off, right? I don't want any social handouts. I don't want to pay any taxes. I don't want any laws.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now I remember.
Not
That's
any
why
laws. I'm stating my position kind of in an exaggerated fashion, but I think we got way too much laws, pay way too much taxes, and the government just does too much entirely.
Yeah, I remember seeing this debate, and this was months ago, so I'm not going to get it exact, but I remember seeing a debate where it said you were arguing with, I don't know, the panel, whoever was on that panel at the time, and you were making the argument that we should have less and less and less laws. Mm-hmm. Well, when you were pressed on that, it doesn't make sense to have less and less and less laws. If you have less and less and less laws, shit goes bad real quick. When you're trying to run a society, the less rules you have, the more rules that the mob is going to enforce. It's just like prison. If you were to go to like a prison or something like that, they have cops there, but the cops don't do anything. It's the prisoners that run everything.
Well, prisons have more rules than anywhere in society, and they're the least functional.
Yeah, because they can't enforce any of the rules.
Oh, they do. They do. I don't know if you've been to jail, but they do enforce them.
Yeah, I've been to prison. They do not enforce them.
Okay, I haven't been to prison, but in jail, they enforced them.
Yeah, in a county jail, but that's because everybody in a county jail still has, trials and shit coming up. So they want to mind their P's and Q's so they don't look like an idiot in front of the judge. In an actual prison where they have the most laws known to man, they tell you when to wipe your ass, when to eat, when to sleep, when to do everything. The guards don't run anything, nothing at all.
There's a quote that says, "Dying societies accumulate laws like dying men accumulate remedies. Laws are external control. They don't make people good. In fact, they are reflective of people being bad. if a person
then
cannot,
why have any laws at all?
well, I think that obviously there are some things that society needs to just collectively just go, you know, this is a no-go, right? You can't kill, you can't grape. Basically, I think that anything with a victim is a good metric. If you can get caught doing something and the cop can decide to be lenient with you and let you go without people being pissed off, I think that's a good metric for something that should not be a law, like possession, right? If a cop lets somebody off who has drugs in his pocket, almost nobody cares. But if they let a murderer off, everyone's going to be outraged, right? So I think that that's a pretty good little litmus test for what should be a law and what shouldn't.
I don't know. I'd have to push back a little bit. I care about the guy that has drugs in his pocket because he's going to eventually get in a car and kill somebody, or he's going to rob my grandma to get his next fix. He's going to do some shit that I don't like. That's what.
Not necessarily.
I mean, that's the whole laws thing, is that we all agreed as a society that these things were bad.
Nobody, none of us agreed. The war on drugs was given to us. Nobody voted on it. And the people have actually been slowly but surely pushing back on it and repealing it over decades and decades, that it's been a complete failure.
Yeah, no, the actual war on drugs, because you can't have a war on drugs when you're pushing drugs into the society. However, if they weren't pushing the drugs into the societies in the first place, the war on drugs probably would have worked.
Well, sure. If nobody was selling drugs, the war on drugs would be unnecessary. But just like with alcohol prohibition, I think that drug prohibition exacerbates the problem, primarily because it spurs innovation, because people keep developing new ways to get high that circumvent the law, and also it makes substance abuse a hugely profitable industry because it's illegal. If it weren't illegal, I mean, meth is like Drano and batteries, right? Like, that's cheap inputs. This stuff is only expensive because of the law.
Okay, but that can go for anything. You know, why have laws if people are going to break them? That can go for just about anything.
No,
we have the laws because when the tweaker or the junkie jumps behind a wheel and kills somebody, everybody goes, wait, why did this person kill somebody? Oh, because they nodded off at the wheel. That's why they killed somebody.
No. So if we, the reason that say the war on drugs is significantly different from laws against violent crimes is because a law needs to be put in place to achieve a particular outcome. With the war on drugs, the desired outcome is to have less people on drugs. 50 years, trillions of, I think $2 trillion later, we have more people on drugs, we have more overdose deaths, and we have massively more people incarcerated. It's not improved anything. It's made everything worse. And that is objectively measurable. That's objectively measurable.
So there's an argument to have some type of revamping of the laws, but that's not an argument to get rid of them.
We can look at the alcohol prohibition as a perfect field test for what would happen if we made drugs legal. When we ended alcohol prohibition, people quit dying from drinking tainted alcohol. The organized crime went out of business, and the number of police officers killed in the line of duty plummeted.
Okay, but let's get real here for a minute.
Okay.
What is worse? An alcohol prohibition, or, I mean, I don't know what I can say on here, but blues, for instance.
Alcohol is probably the worst drug.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. They tried to make it illegal.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work.
Right.
However, you can't make I don't know what I can say on here. That thing that starts with an F.
Yeah,
They're called blues on the street. You can't make something like that legal.
The only reason you can, the only reason that stuff is becoming a big problem now is because of the laws.
Bro, it's damn near legal in Sacramento. Look at the fucking place.
Well, crime in general is that the problem in and the West Coast is that they legalized crime across the board, crime with victims, theft, grand theft auto, breaking and entering. Like that's the real issue.
But that's what I'm saying. People are breaking and entering to get the drugs.
Some probably are, but they wouldn't be if the laws that had for crimes that had victims like breaking and entering, if that was enforced and drugs were just allowed to be, right, the two wouldn't overlap. The issue is that we're not enforcing the crimes that have victims. It's not that we're not enforcing the victimless crimes. If cops started enforcing drug laws out there, but then didn't enforce crimes against people's property, you would still have the same issues. The issue isn't that somebody's high. The issue is that that person stole your car.
Okay, but I got to push back on that a little bit because I've seen. So I don't have fucking studies to cite or whatever, but the town I live in has a huge drug problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody I know in jail, or that I knew, this was years ago, obviously, but my wife works at a particular place that is supposed to help these guys.
A rehab?
And well, kind of. It's like a I forget the name of it, but
the halfway house.
It's like a place where you can go, instead of doing drugs, they give you this pill and liquid shit. You're not supposed to do drugs.
Oh, okay, a clinic.
Yeah. So she's one of the boss ladies that run the clinic. So I'm unfortunately I'm around these guys all the time. 99% of them, you can go into these meetings and stuff, and they'll tell you they would have never broken into a house, then they would have never robbed their grandma if they didn't start tweaking or they didn't start, fill in the blank.
I don't believe them.
And in my town,
I mean, go ahead.
In my town, so the particular town I live in, I know for a fact that your very first time caught with booze, you're on 3 years probation. The second time is a mandatory minimum of 2.5. So I know they're enforcing it. They're also enforcing stuff like, ag assault and stuff like that. But the problem is that shit is subjective. You can get charged with aggravated assault if you get in an argument with your wife.
No, you can't.
Oh, yes, you can.
I mean, if she lies and fakes an injury.
I think he promised you you can.
I mean, not by the law. There's a definition for what constitutes ag assault, and yelling at somebody is not it.
Okay, fine. Then it's even if it's not ag assault, they can bump anything up to an ag assault if they have just the littlest bit of information. If she swings on you and you push her hand away, that's ag assault.
So, and this is part of the reason why I dislike extra laws, right? Because I agree with you that enforcement is bad on things, and prosecutors in particular, there's no recourse for a malicious prosecutor. They can charge you with whatever they want. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. And then it doesn't matter. There's no recourse at any time. They could charge you anytime for anything.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The more that we can keep the people that are doing these crimes, the more that we can keep them off the streets and in jail, the less likely they're going to come out and do more shit.
Well, you were just
If we
talking
can keep
about
them in a prison-
law enforcement being the issue, arresting somebody for ag assault for unjustifiably.
Well, I'm saying no. It's a revolving door, is what I'm saying. If we can keep them, people that are committing these crimes, if we can keep them in the jails,
The
if
cops.
we can keep them, if we
I
can-
agree. We could lock up the cops and the prosecutors. I'd be fine with that.
Now, I'm honestly, I'm not. I don't totally disagree with that. There are some prosecutors out there that do some shady shit,
Mm-hmm.
and because they don't like the tattoo on your left arm or whatever, they try to throw the book at you. That should be wrong, or that should be illegal. There should be some type of repercussions. However, on that, in the same hand, there's going to be a reason that you're in front of that prosecutor in the first place. That's where we need to stop it. That's the shit we need to stop. So you never go in front of that prosecutor. You never go in front of those cops. This shit needs to be cut off before people get to that point.
I mean, it sounds like you want. It sounds like you're proposing a system that would have both of us for sure still locked up.
All right, guys, that's actually the timer just went off, so that's the end of the debate. I don't know if we ever got to the bottom of if Dusty is objectively a douchebag or not, but that was an interesting. Oh, we did.
Objectively, so technically, I won the debate, but pragmatically, subjectively, he's correct. I'm a douchebag. I have no issue with that.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with taking a technical L as long as I get what everybody sees as a real W.
It's yours.
All right.
And I just proved you wrong again because it was a pleasant interaction for you. Thank you for having me up, Vic. It's been good talking to you, David, and salute to the chat, even though most of you fuckers hate me.
Thanks for coming.